Now, y'all know nothing upsets white people more than Kwanzaa because it is like a holiday or a celebration, whatever you want to call it, that celebrates everything they hate. It celebrates black people not being insecure about ourselves or our history or whatever. It celebrates our community coming together and working together and stuff. They can't stand stuff like that. So they have a really huge issue with Kwanzaa, right? So, as usual, as they do every year, there was a post on Facebook full of them complaining about Kwanzaa celebrations, right? And I left a comment under this post. So a white guy came and responded to me like, oh, Kwanzaa was invented by a racist Fed who beat women to death. Now, I haven't looked it up, but maybe that's true because I've heard black Americans make complaints about Kwanzaa because the guy who invented it was whatever, right? Now, it's one thing when black Americans voice those complaints, right? It's valid coming from y'all. But a white person, I responded to him like, okay, every holiday and every celebration ever created by white people was created by people who were those things and more because y'all that and much, much worse. Yet you still celebrate y'all celebrations. You still celebrate your history. You still celebrate your culture, etc., etc., etc. Why is that? Now, my thing is this. Again, it's one thing if you're a black American and you say, oh, I don't celebrate Kwanzaa because the guy who created it was this, that, so and so and so, right? But you got a lot of nerve as a white person to be going around talking about all the bad things that the guy who invented Kwanzaa was. But I don't never hear you say nothing about all the bad things that white people who invented everything was. What I'm confused. Like, y'all will sit there and ignore, like, for example. This was years ago when I was in college. I had to be like 20, maybe, right? I worked at this place at Michigan State. And this was one of those jobs where they was always trying to do like, icebreakers and, building relationships amongst coworkers. Like, leave me alone. I'm just here to get paid, right? So one day, I forget what holiday it was, but I'm 99% sure it was Independence Day. It was like July 4th weekend that we were working or whatever, like July 4th was coming up during that week, whatever, right? So we all sitting in a circle and the icebreaker is, oh, what is your favorite like historical moment in the United States, whatever, right? So we going around this circle, okay? And all of the white guys said the Boston Tea Party. I kid you not. They were all like, yeah, we really stuck it to those Brits, whatever, right? So all of the white guys, mind you, this was not a small place. It wasn't like, oh, it was like 4 or 5 of us in a circle. No, this circle was huge, right? Then all of the white girls said, oh, when, women, but they meant white women, because I've made videos about that, right? Got the right to vote in 1920, right? So finally it got to me and I was like, when slavery was abolished, like what are you saying, right? And then everybody in the circle was like, wow, yeah, golly gee, like, that makes sense, homie. I'm just like, bro. So my point is this, right? Those white people spoke about, the Boston Tea Party and, women's suffrage, white women's suffrage, right? And none of them were like, oh, these people in the Boston Tea Party were racist and they beat their wives and whatever. None of them were like, oh, those women in the women's suffrage movement were racist. They didn't include black women, so and so and so. None of them gave their leaders that scrutiny. Now, that was just one room full of people. Of course, like, you can't generalize based off one room, but yeah, I can. Okay. And what I've noticed, just period, outside of that room is that, again, white people don't give their leaders the scrutiny that they give black leaders, right? So they never worried about, oh, yeah, like, these people in the Boston Tea Party were, actually this, that. They weren't good people at all. They don't care about that. They just celebrating the fact that they rebelled against Britain and they not a colony no more and so and so and so, right? All of that is a second thought, right? They never do all that. But when it comes to black leaders, as soon as they see black folks celebrating ourselves and our history, and suddenly, oh, well, that leader of yours was so and so and so, yada, yada, yada. Now, like I said, it's different if you're black American and you're like, oh, I don't celebrate this for this, that reason. That's different. But the issue with the way white people approach it is because they always hold black people to a different standard than themselves. And this is not just something that happens when it comes to political leaders or people who invented whatever celebration or whatever. No, this is not just something that happens in this case. Like, think of real life, bro. Like, at work, the white women be the meanest, rudest, nastiest, cattiest, most aggressive people in the world, right? And nobody ever complains. That's never an issue, right? But if a black woman simply sits there and minds her business, everybody's gonna be like, oh my gosh, like, she's so aggressive, it makes me uncomfortable. Like, what are you talking about? I'm just an introvert. I don't really want to talk. What are you talking about, right? Again, it boils down to the fact that white people hold themselves to no standards at all. They don't have to abide by any rules. They don't have to do shit. But black people, you got to make sure that you following rule A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Like, it's just, come on now.